What's going on, seasoned family? How y'all
What's
doing?
happening, everybody?
How's everybody doing?
What's up?
Excited to share another beautiful episode with you guys. We have some pretty interesting topics this evening. I'm excited for all of you guys. I hope that everyone has been enjoying the ones that we released thus far. We need more of you guys to comment, though. Get in those comments and tell us what y'all think about them. Tell us your views. Tell us what y'all feeling and how which is did some of the comments and conversations, touch your heart, your soul, your pockets, you know,
Do you
make you
agree? Do you disagree? What you want
get
us to talk about?
it.
All of that.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right into it, Harmony. I'm good today. You good today?
I'm good today. You know, that ATL traffic tried to get to me today, but I'm had to brush it off. I mean, it tried to get me. You know about the ATL traffic, but I'm not gonna let it get me.
That's an everyday thing in the ATL, baby. Everyday thing.
Every day,
At
all
least,
day,
at
all
least,
night.
at least in Chicago, it's a little bit more predictable, though. It's traffic hours. In Atlanta, it could be 11, 12 o'clock in the morning,
Could
and you're
be
going traffic and don't know why. So
correct. You feel
no,
my pain.
no rhyme or reason in Atlanta. So um, well, yeah, let's jump right into it today because it's pretty juicy. We got a little extra things to talk about today, so we might have to take a little bit more time on some of these.
Okay, what we talking about?
So a lot of it is dealing around relationships again, y'all. We back at that.
Oh
Now,
boy.
I do want to lead into this. One of these questions did come from one of our viewers, so we
Mm,
that they asked not to be named. Um,
anonymous.
but they did pose one of these questions, so we're going to lead with that one and start with that one first.
Okay, let's get
What
it.
what do we think is the biggest difference between the way men love and the way women love?
Hmm.
Interesting,
The-
right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I have conversations, with the opposite sex on a regular basis, just, being nosy and trying to get different perspectives sometimes because, we are such different creatures. It's always so interesting to me to get the male perspective on things. And my household and my upbringing was primarily female. So, um, my views are often, female experiences and female driven. So I have to ask my brothers a lot of questions and kind of reach out to get their perspective. But with that being said, um, I don't like to generalize, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there are so many different types of men and different types of women and different ways that, each of those groups think, right? So I was having a conversation with a gentleman recently who always talked in like, I'm not talking about the anomaly. I'm talking about majority. Like what would do majority men do or what do majority men think? And that used to aggravate me for some reason because I just was like, that feels so invalid and feels so like a cop out. If I'm asking you a question about you, I'm not talking about majority of people. I'm talking about you. But okay, let me get back to the question. So how men and women kind of view love differently. I think especially at this age, I think men tend to focus on who can be the best caretaker for them, if you will, as they get into this season age. Who's going to be there to, you know, make sure they're good or hold them down if something changes for them, whether that's financial or physically. Um, and of course, sex and intimacy is always at the top of the list for the fellas. Not that it's not important to the women, it's just always at the top of the list for fellas. So for me, I think those two things are probably at the top for men. Um, how somebody's gonna take care of them, and how the sex and intimacy stuff is gonna be. I think differently for women. I think, especially at this age, we are more interested in um, companionship and security, if you will, meaning like, where's our safe space, especially for women who have been, in survival mode for a long time, holding it down, doing careers and kids and all the things. We just want to be able to like take our hands off the wheel for a change and like be in that famous soft girl era. That's like super important to us right now, and just having somebody that we can enjoy this stage of life with. Like, and most of the time for women at our age, we're still pretty active. We like to do things, we like to go places. And unfortunately, sometimes the guys are doing the opposite. They're slowing down and, trying to chill. Not all of them. I saw that face, Skill. I saw that face. Not all of them. But I can guarantee you, if you take a poll, if you ask the ladies out here trying to date men that are 50 and 60, them brothers is trying to sit somewhere with their feet up. I'm trying to tell you, they're not trying to be out here doing activities and all kinds of things. Like, so, that's just what I found. What about you? What do you think is some of the differences that you found?
Well, for me, I think we've talked about this before, you and I. To me, I think everyone's definition of love is completely different, for one.
Absolutely.
Every definition. I don't think two humans can sum up that term the same way. I don't think it's possible.
Mm,
Because love to me is mostly based on what someone learned growing up and how they learned to love.
mm,
So that's my view on the term love overall. But as far as the way men think about love, I think we're so more so, and I agree partly with what you said. We do look for someone that is riding for us for long term and looking for stability, someone who, you know, we don't have to be concerned about too much. Um, but one of the things that I find that's most important, the way that I think that I see men love, is that we love, past and through all things.
mm,
And I think a lot of women, their love comes with conditions.
mm,
Comes with, is he treating me right in this moment? Is he doing me right? Is he spending enough money on me? Is he paying enough bills? Is he, taking care of all of his responsibilities? And I think, uh, and not knocking the way women love, but I don't think that that's necessarily love. You know what I mean? I think that that's, you should be able to love through all of those things, regardless of what he's doing in that moment. Because for me, I don't take away my love if I'm mad at you. If I cook for you, I'm going to cook for you every day, whether I'm mad at you or not. If I was paying a bill before I got mad, I'm going to pay a bill after I got mad. I'm not going to take away those things because of the emotion that I'm in that moment. And I think that's kind of, the way women love a little bit more so, is that they believe in using it as a weapon and taking
mm.
away things, when, a man is not doing what she thinks he should be doing.
All right.
It's my view. Hopefully, brothers, I helped y'all out with that one. Y'all feel
Let
the way I about that,
us let
because
us know, fellas, what y'all
I know
think.
the ladies coming for me after that
They
one.
might just, they might just. And the ladies always, got something to say. So fellas, we need y'all to speak up, type up, do
Right.
something.
Right. Okay, so since we were on, love, my question is, what are some of the things that you think will make marriages work and last longer than what they do?
Ooh, baby. If I knew the answer, I promise you I'd sell it. I'd sell it and be a cajillionaire. um, so full transparency, I can actually say I don't know, because I have
Okay.
not been in a marriage that works, first and foremost. So I am going by, what I think. I'm going by, what I've seen and observed, whether it's in, other relationships or um, whether those are real people or, um, out in the world. I will say, honestly, though, something that me and some of my girls were talking about, when I think about marriages that I've seen over the decades, I feel like I can probably count on one hand how
Mhm.
many marriages I would want to emulate. You know what I'm saying? Like how many marriages I've seen that I've actually been like, wow, that looks like something that I would really like to be a part of. I've seen, and keeping in mind that most of the time people are what you see is the better side of people's marriages. So it's not even like the bad stuff, because most of the time you don't see that, you don't know about that, because people kind of keep that close to the vest. So even with that being said, I feel like to say that speaks volumes of, just how far and few between the type of marriage that one I would want to have, um, I've even seen. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but as usual, some of the things that I think would make a marriage work that I would want to be a part of, usually at the top of my list, communication has to be there. And not just communication, people talking back and forth to each other, but effective communication, because there's a difference.
Mhm.
And um, I think compatibility is important. Not that we have to like all the same things. That's not what compatibility means to me. It's just that um, we it has to fit together. You know what I'm saying? And there's some compromise and some enjoyment and some sacrifice that is all rolled up into that compatibility. Um, I think that both parties having good character is of utmost importance, because to me, character is who you are when nobody's looking. And so I need my partner to be the man that I think he is in front of me and not in front of me. I need him to be representing us when he's in a room by himself, when he's in a room full of others, when he's in a room with some bad chicks. I that needs to be the same for me. And so just off the top, and to not be long winded, those are some of the first things that popped into my mind. What about you, Skillz?
Um, I mean, of course, communication is very important. But I think that people get really content in relationships and they don't try to, do things different and do things spontaneous and change up things in a marriage and try different things that are important.
Mm-hmm.
Try different things that keep it spicy, keep it seasoned up, keep it, saucy, keep it,
Hey.
passion. I don't like to get content and don't get content with me.
Right.
We haven't been out to a concert in a year. Like, buy a ticket. Like,
Right.
look, get a ticket. Even if I'm paying for it, buy a ticket. Like, let's see a concert. Let's continue to do the things that we loved from the beginning. Um,
Hmm.
one of the major things that I think when people get into marriages, they stop doing. They
Mm.
stop that they love to do together. And experience those things together. But I also think that people should just stop marrying who they think they love, and marry who they truly like and who they truly enjoy their time with. So
Right.
I think a huge part of it is know who you're marrying first, know who you're getting into that relationship with, know who you're investing in, because when we think about it, everybody says that financial is the reason why most marriages end, which that's partly true. That number is still very high.
Yes.
But a lot of people are in marriages with somebody that they don't even like.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even want to be with. They can't even stand to be around. And
Right.
that's scary to me. That's scary to me that some people can put on that good of an act and live in the same house with somebody and sleep in the same bed with somebody and they don't even like you.
Right. That's
So let's start honestly keeping it 100 with each other and just being honest and transparent and, saying exactly what it is. Like, if you don't like something that I do, it's okay. Like, I'm not expecting for you to like anything that I do, but just be able to tell me that. Don't take it out on me in other ways. And
right.
now I hear you arguing with me about some milk, and we don't even drink milk. Like, why are we arguing about milk?
Because it's
Because
not about the milk.
the milk, and that's my point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can nitpick and throw little things and throw little daggers and stuff like that when it's not even about that. The misery comes in to where you don't even really want to be involved with me. You don't even really want to be in a relationship with me. And I think that's one of the things that in my opinion, that will make marriages work. Like, truly be in a marriage with somebody that you truly like, somebody that's your best friend, somebody that you enjoy all things with, and y'all have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
Truly enjoy each other. I think it's honestly just that simple, outside of the communication piece and the transparency piece that we talked about.
Yeah.
Because let's be clear. I mean, although I agree with your point about, them showing you the same face and no matter what room it is that they're in, I definitely agree with that point. The one thing that we all are humans, and we're
Mm-hmm.
all going with someone else that's attractive. We're
Absolutely.
all going to go with somebody else that we think is like fly. You know what I mean? That's going to happen at some point in our life. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact that, and we can have that conversation with our spouse, and
Absolutely.
I think that's important. You know what I mean? Share that information.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to hide that and be like, oh, I walked through the whole day today and didn't see nobody beautiful. Everybody was ugly that I saw
Nobody
today.
but you, baby. Nobody but you.
I only got eyes for you. BS. We too grown. That's the you
Right.
saw fly today. Like, tell the
Yeah.
spouse, hey, I ran up on the sister today and she was like, oh my God. Like, headache. Y'all talk about it together
Absolutely.
on the brother and be like, yo, I saw this brother today look like he had more abs than was humanly possible. Like,
Exactly.
looks like whatever that thought was that you had when you saw that person,
Very,
keep
yeah.
it real, keep it organic. So
I
that's my
agree. That cool. So let's see. This is something that tends to come up often, and there's people on both sides of the spectrum. So I'm curious to know what you think and what everybody else thinks about this. So how do you feel about, and we're not talking about in general, we're talking about how do you feel about your partner having exes as friends? Your partner having any of their exes as their current friends. I see your eyes doing something behind them glasses. I see it. I see it.
um, so that's a mixed one for me. I think that if I do honestly believe that some responsible, respectful adults can be friends with their exes.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that it's possible, especially if there's children involved or families involved and things like that. I do think it's possible for that to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
it um but I think that it requires a lot of transparency with your spouse and
Mm-hmm.
who that person is, and y'all are not separate friends.
Right.
It's a friend of yours and not a friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's extremely important. Because if it's just a friend of yours and it's an ex of yours and it's not a friend of mine, absolutely not. It's not going to work for me. It's a no. It's a no all day, all night, all morning. It doesn't, now if we all become cool and we're all at the same dinner, at the same function, and he's become a part of our family, then okay, cool. You know what I mean? He's respectful, you're respectful. I understand it. I get it. So that one to me, it has to be some responsible, respectful adults that can have that type of relationship. But do I believe in, you being friends with exes from years ago that we ain't talked to in years and we know nothing about and just pop up out of the blue? Absolutely not. Because that's not a friend to me. That is someone that you have compartmentalized and put in a place in your life to have for you at a convenient time when it's convenient for you. And I've been a part of that, and I've heard situations like that happened with one of my friends just recently, to where, this particular friend, was an attorney, and that they had a working relationship that was an attorney, and all of a sudden, the attorney
Mhm.
picked up to handle a case for her.
Uh-huh.
Baby, it's way too many attorneys out there for you to only have to rely on that one. Okay, let's be clear. Don't play. Don't play. Don't
Don't
play
do
games around. You will mess around and lose your husband over an attorney that you with a new one.
that.
It's somebody else out there that's been passed the
You better
bar.
get that phone book. Quit playing.
Listen, but what you think? That's pretty.
Yeah, I probably am a little more liberal than most when it comes to this. I 100% agree with you as far as, um, you know, all parties have to be responsible. Boundaries have to be, in place. Understandings have to be in place on all sides. It can't just be a understanding between you and your partner. It also has to be an understanding between whoever else is involved in the situation, and that understanding has to be amongst everyone, not just two-sided. The whole triangle needs to understand, what it is, what it ain't, what it's gonna be. And I personally haven't had any issues. I've had, and surprisingly later in life, after 40, I ended up dating a gentleman who was extremely insecure, which made that one of my top deal breakers. Cannot deal with an insecure man. Hadn't experienced it until after I was 40. Me no want, me no like. And so, and you know who I am and how my personality is, and being a people person and being like out in public, and I know a lot of people know me, so people come up and talk all the time. I had to take a lot of pictures, and then you have to have the comment, who is that, or why they smiling, why they looking, why did they wait till I went to the bathroom to come and say hi? What are you talking about? So I think it really depends on the individuals. I personally would have it. I would feel some kind of way, or we would have to have a really uh, serious discussion for my partner to ask me to not talk to or communicate with anybody in my past, a friend, an ex, or whatever, because in my opinion, that says more about them than it says about the other person. If I'm telling you, there's nothing going on, there's never been any type of trust issues between us or anything like that, then that's a different issue, in my opinion. So, for me, it will be a challenge if somebody asks me to not do something that is, but it's not a deal breaker, but it would be a challenge. So I don't have a problem with people having exes as friends, as long as it's done, like you said, respectfully, with boundaries, with understanding. Um, so that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Okay.
Um, let's see. While we're talking about exes and people from the past,
Hmm.
um, why do you think, from a fella's perspective, some men don't pay child support? They have an issue with it. They don't do it. And I'm not talking about for a financial reason, like they don't have the money. That aside, like if they don't have a job or something, not for that reason, but outside of that, they have the means, or something that they can contribute, but for whatever reason they don't. Why do you think that would be the case?
Um. Wow. That's a good question, but a touchy one for a lot of men. And this is just from my past and my history, from friends, from,
Mm-hmm.
fellas that I know that have children that, don't play, that, struggle with paying child support.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the main reason is because the women use the children as a tool. And I know that may sound horrible, but they do.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen it, I've experienced it, I've witnessed it, I've been a part of it, I've fought against it. You know, they use those children to, they'll keep the children from the father.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's just like, I can't even speak to my children. I can't even talk to my children. I can't even, spend time with them. Why am I paying child support for them?
Mm-hmm.
And I get it that doesn't take away their responsibility. I don't.
Right.
I mean, I really don't agree with them not paying because they can't see them. But I also don't agree with women holding, the rights to their children away from the father, whether they agree with them, whether they like them, whether they, disagree with their parenting style or whatever it is, whatever reason that they can come up with. Um, but I just seen over the years women use children in the wrong way, to hold against men because of their issue and because of the things that they don't like about that man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's one of my major things. The reason why I think men, struggle with paying child support is because of the relationship that they have with that woman,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that they've seen that woman do with the money that they've sent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, prime example, one of my good friends, his child support payments was extremely high. Um, and he watched his ex, spend money on Louis Vuitton, spend money, you know what I mean, take this money and do all kind of things that, you know, not that she's not entitled to buy nice things. That's not what I'm saying. But taking the money that he's sending for his children
Right.
to buy nice things or to pay for another man to live in the house that, you know what I mean? Like,
Ooh.
trust me, seen it all. Seen them take the child support money and literally pay for another man to have a vehicle or to have a, you know what I mean? So you have to look at things from both sides
Mm-hmm.
when, you know what I mean? I get it that it's easy to always blame the man and always say, hey, there's all these deadbeat dudes out here that don't want to pay for their children but that's not always the case. Like, let's be honest. Y'all done seen some of y'all girlfriends like get over on dudes or whatever the case may be. And me, myself, I'll talk about my own experience, which I normally don't do. But I'll talk about my own experience. The laws are not also in the male's favor when it comes to child support and
That's
when it
right.
comes to paying for children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because there was a child out there that wasn't mine. But being that I was married to this woman, the law was trying to force me to pay for child support for this child that wasn't mine
Mm-hmm.
because we were married. And I don't know if a lot of y'all know that, but that is the law in Georgia, the state that you live in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, with stuff like that happening and stuff like that going on, like, you know what I mean? Even though that child was not mine, I'm being forced to pay for this child.
Wow.
Not acceptable. You know what I
Correct.
mean? To look at things from, different angles and different views and have a true understanding before you judge and you throw all men under the bus. Because I guarantee you that some of those men not only want to pay child support, but they also want to pay time with their children. They also want to have that they get denied and get deprived of because of that woman's bitter, angry frustration with who he is.
Right.
To do with the children, but she's pent him in between his children because that's now something that she holds the rights to.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we all know that most of the time the man is not going to get the children in a divorce
Right.
unless the mother physically or, is
Yeah.
something going on that she couldn't provide for them.
Right.
Um, with that being said, I think that's one of the major reasons why a lot of men struggle with paying child support.
I can definitely understand that. Like you said, I have seen So many different cases and stories, whether it's friends. I have my own personal experiences as well. Um, I've seen lots of instances where, exactly what you were describing, was taking place. I've seen lots of instances where, in those circumstances, where the women were using the children as pawns, like fathers were spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars trying to fight to have some rights to their kids, or, you know, be able to be in their lives, be able to see them, be able to spend time with them, have a relationship with them. And in the end, losing the battle and also having lost all the thousands of dollars that they put in the back trying to have the battle in the first place. And so I've just seen some terrible circumstances and situations. I've seen a lot of and I agree with you, the laws surrounding, child support and, fatherhood and the rights and things, all of that stuff needs to be relooked at, re-examined, redone, changed to, for the times and all that kind of stuff. It's just really unfortunate. It's definitely an area of the law that people need to pay some more attention to, and people need to, do some updating and upgrading. Some of the one of the things too that you mentioned, kind of like, I think it would be a great idea for men to consider, even if for whatever reason they don't have anything legally set up with the courts, or even legally set up with the kid, with the other parent, like, make a trust for your child and put a certain amount of money, whatever you're able to put, whatever you think is fair, whatever you think the court would have done. Make a trust for your child and just put it away every month, every year, whatever the case may be, so that when your child turns 18 and they're an adult, you have done this thing for them that all parents should do, if they could do. And at the end of the day, them, you, and nobody else will ever be able to say you did not take care of, contribute, or, add value to your child. Um, Sometimes you have to think outside the box. Sometimes you have to do it a different way. Sometimes you have to find a way or make one, instead of waiting on somebody to give you permission to be a parent. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that would kind of just be my addition to add. Why some fellas don't pay, there's a million excuses, and then there's another million valid reasons why people don't pay. So it's such a huge gamut. We could probably talk about this particular topic all day. And so since we don't have all day, we're gonna let you guys we're gonna let you guys, let us know what you think about that. If you have some personal experience about it, feel free to share. If you know anything about some different laws, or I did not know the thing that Skillz shared about, if you're married to somebody, that they can try to make you pay child support for a child that's not yours. I wasn't aware of that. So maybe you learned something new, or maybe you could teach us something new, but feel free to, give us some new information. I got one more question for you, Skillz, before we wrap up this episode.
Okay.
So
What you-
we're still kind of talking about, couples, relationships, and just, life. In your experience, or, in your seasoned years, why do you think that some fellas have trouble letting go of a relationship that's over?
Oh wow. Hmm. Um. I think a large part of that is because men are, when we are attached to someone, we're truly attached to them.
Mm,
And I think women know that, and they prey upon that. Um, and, I think that they, send mixed messages,
mm,
conversation, and access, and, things that they allow to take place.
mm,
Um, ladies, when you have a man that is having trouble letting go, or they're struggling with the separation, or they, you know that it's over, cut communication. Like, stop talking to him. Don't have conversations with him. Like, go ahead with your new dude, go ahead with your new situation, and let that be it. Don't be sending text messages, don't be sending pictures,
hey,
don't
big
still
head.
yeah, still have all of these side conversations, and if he keeps texting you and keep hitting you up, block him. Like, don't send mixed messages to him, because I think with some men are let's be real. I can be honest about men as well. Some men are pretty toxic, and they're used to toxic stuff. And sometimes when a lady says that it's over, she don't really mean that it's over.
Right.
You know what I
Nope.
mean? Dip back in and dip back out, and then they done made up and broke up, and tried it again and tried it. So when is he? It's just like a child. You can't send mixed messages. You know what I
Right.
mean? You
Right.
have to be clear and precise about what it is that you mean and what it is that you say. And if it's truly over for you, let it be over. Don't send that man a message, and don't respond to him in a text, and don't give him access to you if he's struggling with the fact that relationship is over. Because I'm telling you right now, that's what gets people hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It gets situations hurt, it gets feelings hurt, it gets, people get possessive, and you done moved on, and out at the movies with your new dude, and you forgot that he still got your location.
Oh,
He still can pull right up on you where you at. And he didn't pull up. Now y'all, and you was just texting him earlier, so he confused.
correct.
You didn't send him all kind of message. He don't understand why you at the movies with your dude when you was just texting earlier, and y'all was going back and forth and arguing about some mess that you shouldn't have even been communicating with him about. So, ladies, if you're truly done, if you're truly through with that man, let him go. You know what I mean? Make it very clear, like, hey, this is our last conversation. I'm blocking you today. You will not have access to me. You can't text me. You can't call me. You can't show up at my job. You can't show up at my house. I have something new. I am trying to be respectful of my new relationship and my new situation. I don't want you to think that there's ever a chance that we're going to get back together. That's just is some simple but clear advice for you to tell that man. Because I'm telling you, if you try to dip back in and oh, y'all cool and y'all friends and y'all, like, it's a mixed message. You sending him, he not gonna be able to let go, because he don't know when you truly mean it.
That's right. That's right. And those soul ties be real. They talking about. You know, I agree with everything you said. There's really not a whole lot more for me to add. And of course, I don't know why fellas do what they do, because I'm a woman, so I don't know why. So I would just be making assumptions and
Yeah, you
but I mean, I think, like you said, alluding to kind of what you said, I kind of feel like one of the bigger reasons often why men have trouble letting go, men often struggle like with their egos. They can't believe, what you mean you done? You ain't done with me. You know, that's one of the reasons that I found, from past experience, not myself, but other people. I do a really good job of making it pretty clear, because when I say done, that's what I mean. Done. And everybody is clear about what I mean. And you already know I'm not a fan of the ghosting, blocking, deleting, none of that stuff. I said it's done. It's done now. It's done. I know that's your thing. Ding, over, done, disappeared. You don't even exist. I know. But yeah, for some reason that I don't do that. I think there's only one person in my whole life since blocking has become a thing that I had to block. And so that's just I don't know. I just think that there's other ways about it. If I say done, that's what I mean.
yeah.
So yeah. So that's it for that.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, something tells me you got something for the sauce check today. What you got? What you got?
Well, we like to, do a little segment called Sauce Check, just finding out what's elevating us in our real lives, what we got going on, what things are, adding value to our life. This week, we're kind of thinking about mental health or therapy, or like, are you eating right? Like, what are you doing? So, for you, or you asked me first. So as far as me, I'm always trying on a daily basis just to, do better, be better. So for me, what I'm doing surrounding mental health is, I think it's important to make sure you have some type of outlet. So I'm always looking for some type of like, you know, yoga class or Pilates class or something that can kind of calm my mind as much as possible. My mind, as an entrepreneur, my mind goes 1,000 miles a minute, and it's so hard for me to just shut it off. So I have to find those things that are more on the quieter Zen side to even give myself a chance to just kind of disconnect. Um, for me, music and candles and incense are usually always involved because those are the things that just give me, peace and just make me feel good and just make me, take a couple deep breaths and I'm in my happy place. So those are some of the things that I'm doing to help with mental health. And also I always try to encourage, especially guys, mental health is super important. Don't let it be a stigma. There's more people who, feel comfortable doing it now. And that's a conversation that I have with anybody that I am, trying to get to know as a future partner. I want to know how they feel about mental health, what experiences they've had with mental health. When we out here in these dating streets, those are the type of questions you need to ask. You need to ask people, do they, probably don't want to say the word struggle, but do you have experience with, anxiety, depression? Are there any medications that you're taking? Like these are the type of questions that you have to ask. We never asked these people this type of stuff before, but this is the type of stuff that you really, really need to know and be aware of because you might wind up in some stuff you don't want to be in if you don't ask the right questions. So that's what I got for the sauce check this week. What about you, Skillz?
I mean, I definitely agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, with I don't know if I like that little dig you threw at the fellas in there, but I got y'all fellas. Um,
Hey.
Ladies, at this age, if y'all have not had a counselor or been to counseling or go to counseling, it's a no for me. Like you got to
Okay.
believe. You think you can church it all away? If you think you can pray it all away? If you think you can, because it's a reason at this age that you
Mm-hmm.
married and ain't in a relationship and ain't in something. So
Ooh,
yeah,
that's what he said. Y'all heard him. It's gonna be
y'all
some
heard it. So
fighting words.
if y'all don't believe in counseling and therapy and talking to someone outside of your girlfriend group, all the other
Mm-hmm.
ladies that y'all be hanging with, listen here.
Mm-hmm. He's trying
Believe
it tonight, y'all.
you gotta have some type of awareness of your own mental health and your own.
Absolutely.
So I'm a firm believer in that. So definitely. But I do agree with the parts where you said you have to find something for yourself. Everybody who knows me know that I'm an avid tennis player and I love to play tennis, and that is my release. That's my stress reliever. That's my health, staying healthy and happy. And, it's a very mental sport. So it gives me a chance to tap out of all the, business stuff that I have going on and all the work stuff that I have going and to, throw my mental into that game and into that sport. So that's my release and my outlet as far as that goes. But I also believe in a good counselor. I do believe in that. I believe in some good therapy. So, you know, don't knock it till you try it. I'm just
That's
saying,
right.
we grew up knowing that, the church was the answer to everything and
Mm.
pastor can help us through. Bishop knows all, but listen here, even bishop and pastor, the therapist.
That's right. Correct.
So just so we all clear. But no, I'm with you on that. Find that outlet. Find something that you love to do that is your stress reliever to keep your mental health in check. And just be aware of it. Be aware if feeling a little snappy sometimes or feeling a little sad sometimes or a little depressed or down, even if you don't know what that means or what that looks like, when something ain't right.
That's right. You
Like
better
just
know.
be honest with yourself. At this age, you know when something ain't right. So check into it, get it looked at, get it talked about, get it worked out, get it stressed out,
Mhm.
I don't care what it is that you do, your Pilates, your yoga, your running, your whatever that looks like for you,
That's
find
right.
something you release that because we all need that.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, most of the things that we need to talk about is childhood trauma that's been there since we was yay high and it's still floating around in there causing problems. So is keep that in mind. And like we said, the Seasoned family definitely are advocates of mental health. So go find you somebody to talk to, somebody that can help you talk through, get over, get under, whatever you need to get.
How did I forget about that? That's a good one, though. That's a good one. I don't mind that one at all.
I bet you I did. I bet you I don't.
I don't mind that at all. Well, listen, family, it has been amazing to chat with you and to chat with you all. Please, please, please continue to watch, continue to like, subscribe, follow, chat it up, talk to your people at work, talk to your friends. If this is a good counseling session for you, a good outlet for you, so be it. Find some of your answers with us. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Just don't still go get some counseling though, because sometimes I might lead you the wrong direction.
And they might follow you in the
Hey,
wrong direction, and they
right,
gladly.
right. So just be clear on that. But no, we appreciate everyone for their views, their support, their comments, their likes, all of that. So continue to stick with us. We will have another episode. Hey, today is Thursday, isn't it?
Number 2.
So just make sure that you guys continue to watch us on Thursdays when we come out. So we'll see you guys next Thursday. How about that?
All right. Y'all stay seasoned.
Peace.